All right, let's talk about VPNs. You know, that thing you turn on to get your own little invisibility cloak for the internet? Seems like a simple tool for privacy, right? Well, what if I told you that simple tool is actually at the center of a massive global battle? A battle between hackers, giant corporations, and even governments. Yeah, the real story of the VPN is way more complex and honestly, a lot more dangerous than you'd ever guess.
I mean, I'm willing to bet most of us have used one at some point. It's so easy. You just click a button, your location magically changes, and you feel safer. But have you ever stopped to think about what you're really connecting to when you flick that switch?
Maybe it's to stop your internet provider from looking over your shoulder at your browsing history, or, let's be real, maybe you just wanted to binge that new show that's only out in the UK. I get it. That's the whole promise of a VPN, right? Privacy, security, freedom, the whole package.
But here's the twist. That's the big question we're digging into. Because for millions of people, that digital shield they trust, well, it isn't just protecting them, it's watching them. And sometimes, it's even selling their deepest secrets.
Okay, so let's back up a little and start with the basics. Why did VPNs get so huge in the first place? It really all boils down to one simple thing: our desire for privacy in a world that feels like it's getting less and less private by the second. So the core idea is actually pretty genius in its simplicity. A VPN basically creates this secure, encrypted tunnel between your device and some server out there in the world. So anyone trying to peek in from the outside, whether it's your ISP or some hacker at a coffee shop, they just can't see what you're up to. It's like having your own private, blacked-out lane on the internet highway.
And this one simple idea is incredibly useful. For one, it shields your activity from your internet provider. It also protects you from all sorts of nasty stuff when you're on public Wi-Fi. And of course, it unlocks a whole world of content that might be blocked where you live. Plus, with so many people working remotely, it's become this crucial key to the digital office. It's a true digital Swiss Army knife.
But, and this is a big but, this is where things start to get a little shady. That promise of a totally free, super secure tunnel, more often than not, it's a trap. We really have to talk about the hidden economy behind all these free VPNs, because trust me, you're paying a price. It just isn't with money.
I mean, just look at this. The difference between what they promise and what you actually get is shocking. They promise you rock-solid security, but in reality, you might be getting malware. They promise total privacy, but the real business is logging and selling your browsing history. It's the ultimate bait and switch. You think you're getting a shield, but you're actually the product being sold.
And this quote from NordVPN really hits the nail on the head. Think about it. Running a global network of secure servers costs a ton of money. So if a company is offering you this amazing service for free, you have to ask yourself, how are they paying their bills? And the answer is almost always simple and frankly pretty disturbing. They're selling your data. You're not the customer in this equation, you're the product.
And believe it or not, it can get even worse than that. Some of the sketchiest free VPNs out there don't just sell your data, they hijack your device. I'm serious. They can steal your internet bandwidth and your computer's processing power, basically turning your machine into a little soldier in a botnet army to launch cyber attacks. And the whole time, you'd have no idea.
All right, so you're thinking, okay, I get it. No free VPNs, I'll pay for a good one. That means you're safe now, right? Well, not necessarily. Even when you're paying, you have to be super careful about one of the most misleading marketing terms in the entire industry, the no logs policy.
Now, on the surface, no logs sounds exactly like what you want. It sounds like they don't keep any records of anything you do online. Perfect. But here's the catch. There's no standard, legal definition of what no logs actually means. It's just a marketing term, and believe me, some companies take full advantage of that gray area.
So what this all comes down to is understanding that there are different kinds of logs. On one side, you've got activity logs. This is the bad stuff, the stuff a VPN should never be recording. Your browsing history, what you're searching for, the sites you visit, that's a huge red flag. Then on the other side, you have connection logs. Now, some of this can be okay, like data on how busy their servers are, which helps them run their network. But if they're logging things like your original IP address, even part of it, your privacy is definitely at risk.
And look, this isn't just some what-if scenario. This actually happened. Back in 2016, a provider named IPVanish, who, by the way, was screaming from the rooftops about their zero logging policy, handed over detailed connection logs to the FBI for an investigation. This was a massive wake-up call. It proved that a company's promises can mean absolutely nothing when the pressure is on, especially if they were keeping records all along.
Okay, so this is where we zoom out from personal privacy to the global stage.
Because this whole fight over VPNs, it's not just about you and me or some shady companies. It's become a global battleground for the control of information itself. It's a full-blown tech arms race between citizens trying to get access to the open internet and governments trying to build bigger and bigger digital walls.
And the governments trying to clamp down on this have a whole arsenal of tools. Their first move is usually just to block the IP addresses of known VPN servers. If people find a way around that, they'll start throttling. Basically, they just slow down encrypted traffic to a crawl so it's unusable. The next level up is something called deep packet inspection, where they're actively sniffing out data to identify and block VPN traffic. And of course, there's the nuclear option, just make using a VPN illegal.
But here's the cool part. For every move they make, there's a countermove. To beat the blocking and the packet sniffing, people use what are called obfuscated servers, which make VPN traffic look just like regular everyday internet traffic. People in really restrictive places are using all these other clever tools like shadow socks and V2 Ray. And some tech-savvy folks even rent their own private servers to create a personal proxy that's almost impossible for anyone to find.
And this quote from a Reddit user in China just perfectly captures this constant cat-and-mouse game. They say that during big political meetings or sensitive anniversaries, the government flips a switch and suddenly all the VPNs slow down or just stop working. It goes to show you they have the power to shut it all down, they just choose not to enforce it all the time. It keeps everyone on their toes.
So, after all that chaos, we're talking malicious apps, shady policies, and a literal global information war. The big question is, how on earth do you find a VPN you can actually trust? Let's bring it all home with some real practical advice you can actually use.
All right, here's your cheat sheet. This is what you really need to look for. Number 1, a no-logs policy that has been proven by an independent third-party audit. Don't just take their marketing for it. Make sure they use strong encryption. AES 256 is the gold standard. Pay attention to their jurisdiction. You want a provider based in a country that respects privacy. If you're in a place with censorship, you absolutely need obfuscation features. And finally, look for a clear business model. Reputable VPNs charge you money because that's how they stay in business without selling your data.
So in the end, it all boils down to this one question. Is that VPN you're using a shield that's protecting you, or is it a spy that's watching you? The very tool you trust for your privacy could be your biggest weakness. This isn't about being paranoid, it's about being smart and being informed. So take a good hard look at the service you're using, because at the end of the day, in this digital world, the only one who's truly looking out for your privacy is you.